Hi there and welcome to the Frank Nut Sewing Machine store. I'm Lucy, the shop manager here, and today we're going to have a run through of the Brother Innov-is 440E, F440E even. This is the first standalone model that Brother do for just embroidery only. So it is embroidery only machine. We've got no feed dogs here. It does the 7x5 size hoop, so that's your embroidery area. So we're going to switch it on and just show you some of the editing features and how it threads up, and stitch out a little design for you. So we'll get it going and then flip up the top to get to our threading area there. We're going to work a bit on the screen, so first of all we're just going to touch the screen to wake it up, and it's going to just prompt us to touch the screen again to get the calibration on the arm. So we've got a few options here. We've got built-in fonts, borders, some very large monogramming, and then two folders which in them also have various different patterns and designs. So you've got your back button here that you can always go to get back to your previous screen. You've also got a USB port here at the side which can be accessed with the USB icon. So if you did have download any designs, then you could just pop in your stick, just there. Anything that you can buy online now, there's such a huge array of things that you can buy online. And if we go into that stick now, there's various things on here at the moment. So some of these you can see are greyed out, which means that they're too large to actually stitch out on this machine because it knows what its maximum limits are. But we can, if we select one of the flowers, we can then set that in on there. And once it's there, we can move it around our embroidery area, add to it as well. We can even change the size to a point. I think it's by 10% smaller or larger, but it does double beep when you get to those maximum sizes. We're going to do a bit more of a simple design for the purposes of YouTube today. So I'm going to delete that one for the moment and then create, using the screen, our design. So in our lettering, I'm going to choose a font because there's lots of different fonts that you can actually use to edit. So if we go to this one here, and I'm just going to write something simple. I'm just going to do my name because I know my name. So if we scroll forwards, then we get to the lowercase here. So as you can see, it's just a case of moving through the screens to get the letters that you want. I can then select whether it's large, medium or small, so we can do this at this point to you know, make sure it's going to come onto our hoop in the right kind of size. I'm going to select medium for now because I can always adjust that if I want to slightly. You do want to make sure that you do select the correct size for the font before you kind of go through to the next screen, because you can't enlarge or decrease too much, so you want to kind of get something, but have a play around. It's all about having a go with the embroidery because you can do whatever you want on the screen. You don't have to stitch it out, so there's lots to play with. We set that in there for now. So that's just automatically centralised the name that we've done, and just by touching that I can move that around. And if I want to be more precise, I can use the move tool and either recenter it again at the touch of a button, or be very precise in my movements of where it is. I'm just going to keep it in the centre for now. You see along the top here, these are other hoops that we could also use, so we could actually put on a smaller frame, but we're going to be using the 7x5 frame today. I'm then going to add to this a little border as well, just to jazz it up a bit. So let's do a diamondy one maybe here. So again, we can select using the back and forward keys here, loads of different borders, and we can also manipulate these as well. If I select that florally one, that's quite nice. Set that there, and again I can move this to be just the right size. I might just make that a little bit bigger just to get the full name in there, and then I'm just going to move it as well. I'm just going to nudge it down a tad just so until you're happy with it, really. I'm also now going to change the colours of these because it automatically defaults a lot of these settings to black. So in this the little spool here with the different colours, I'm going to have a look. So this is the border that it's got selected, and I'm going to choose for the border, there was a lilac-y colour that I've got sorted out, so we can just scroll through the colours here. I think it was that one there. So I'll press OK, and then if I select I might have to move that out there to be able to see. And I'm going to change the colour of the lettering as well, but I can recenter that very easily and move it around again. So for this one I'm going to select a silver colour, because then we can demonstrate a colour change on the machine itself once it's sewing. So I think there's like a silvery colour there. Okay. So if I tap the border again and kind of get it roughly in position, actually if I use my move tool and centralise it and then just nudge it down a little bit like we did before. Okay. So we can then have a look at what this design is going to look like fully in the hoop. So by touching this icon here on the top right hand side of the screen, we can see these are the different frames that it can go in, and that's how it's going to appear on our frame. So now we can set that up. So I've got some pre-prepared stabiliser and fabric. One important part of embroidery is the stabiliser, because this is going to keep your fabric from puckering. We use a really popular medium weight tearaway stabiliser, and that seems to go with nearly all fabrics. There's lots of different stabilisers available. There's lots of advice out there as well, but we're going to use this because we've just got some calico, so this is going to work just right. So for hooping up, I'm just going to move the machine forward slightly to give a good view of this. You've got two parts to your hoop. So I'm going to lay the part with the screw bit down first and loosen off the screw so it's got some movement in there. Then going to lay the stabiliser and the fabric in that order onto the hoop. And then we've got our upper frame. So this has got a couple of little notches. So it's got a little arrow there and a spare bit of thread. So I'm just going to make sure that that is matching up with the notch on here, which is at the top there. So actually it shouldn't go in that way. It does need to go in this way around. And that is the reason for that being, because it will go in the other way, is there are grid sheets that also come with all of the hoops that Brother supply, and they can be used for positioning and directly positioning on a garment or fabric or whatever it is that you're doing. And if the grid sheet won't fit in unless that is actually orientated the right way. So I've popped in the frame on top of the material, and we can see it's sandwiched it there, and we want it to be nice and tight like a drum skin. So I'm just going to gently pull these edges out until it's really flat and really tight. And I'm going to tighten this up a little bit, just finger tight for now, and then I'm going to give it another little pull. So now that's nice and taut like a drum. Happy with that. I'm going to tighten it up again. And if you do struggle with your fingers, Brother do supply a proper tool in order to actually tighten this up as well, that you just would turn, but you don't want to over tighten your screws because that can actually damage them. So the way that this frame clips into the machine, I'm just going to press OK on this, because it will actually, once you go through the editing process, it will then tell you when to put the hoop on, and you're best off just waiting until the machine tells you what to do. So if we go to Edit End and Embroidery, it's now ready to go. Actually, this model doesn't tell us when to put it on, but we've now got to the point where it doesn't need to calibrate. We know we just need to attach this, and it's going to start stitching the name as soon as we do lower the presser foot. Bring the machine a bit towards us. So this one clips on. Oh, I just realised I haven't put the bobbin in. That would help, doing that first of all. Thread up the machine. Bobbin cover comes up. So another important factor is bobbin and bobbin fill. And so this is a very fine bobbin fill that Brother do supply with all of their machines as well. They do supply a reel of this to get you going, and of stabiliser in all the boxes of a brand new machine. It's normally white, and we recommend sticking with the white. You won't be able to see this on the front at all. It's totally hidden it towards the back with the correct tension on embroidery. So this threads up like a lot of the other Brother machines, drops into the top, underneath the guide there, and pulls then around in the grooves and then trimmed off. And we can thread our first colour up first, which is the silver. Put that on there, and the spool cap. And then we've got our numbered threading system on here now. So we're following it all through the 1 and the 2, and we're following this solid line for the embroidery needle, for the actual needle thread. Down to 3, up into 4. And if you just loop that round in the way that it has on the arrow, you will get into the take-up link. Down to 5, and then we've got this little 6 right at the top of the needle. Pull that in, make sure it's in all the way. And then we've got number 7 here. So this is for the advanced needle threader, which is one of the best needle threaders ever. It really does work very well. It trims off at number 8 here, and then even number 9 at the side is also labelled. So as soon as we then bring this down, it flicks forward and threads the needle. Well, it gives us a nice big loop out the back, so that's really easy to then pull through and away. Okay, so now we've got our bobbin and our top thread in there. We're ready to go with the silver. It's going to take 2 minutes, it says on screen, and then 1 minute for the lilac, but it'll stop and tell us when to change. We've got a couple of options on tension on there as well. And if there is any problem, a really good thing on the brother screen that's really easy to do is if you do have a thread breakage or anything like that, it's really straightforward to actually go back a few steps, a few stitches, or even an entire colour in order to kind of get back to where you were and save the work. So we'll pop this back on again. So underneath the presser foot, and it clips on here. Once we lower the foot, so now the button's green and we are ready to go. So this machine stitches at 650 stitches per minute. That is its maximum speed. It doesn't actually have a speed control, so just let it do its thing. So by the powers of YouTube, we're going to finish this off and then come back to it when it's doing the colour change. See you in a sec. So now we're ready to carry on with our second colour. Once again lowering the presser foot, and then when the button is green, green for go. And so this lilac part is going to take us another 1 minute. So now we have finished embroidering, as the machine says. So we can raise up the presser foot here, so we've got room to actually pull the hoop away, and using this clip here to release it from there. And then just gently put it out. You don't want to be knocking the foot by accident or anything, so just be patient. And there we are, our finished embroidery. So you can see how simply and quickly you can personalise something. You will notice there's a couple of little jump stitches between the lettering here. This being the kind of entry-level model on standalone embroidery, it doesn't actually trim these automatically. Some other models do. So with these, you just have to use embroidery scissors just to snip them to get rid of the joins. And you can see that on some commercial embroidery as well. At times they don't even bother to do that, but yours can be nice and perfect. So yeah, happy with that. It's come out really lovely and neat. On the reverse, we can see the top colours as well as the bobbin thread, and that is perfectly normal. That's exactly how it should look, being able to see the silver and the lilac. So yeah, if you want to know any more about this model, what it comes with, or anything else, as far as the question, this type of machine can go through a surprising amount of materials. So you can embroider onto leathers and vinyls, suedes, toweling, velvets. It really is down to the stabilisers that you use. Obviously, for purposes of this video, we're using something pretty basic, but come and test it out for yourself, put it through its paces, see what you can do, and if you've enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, and if you'd like to just let us know what you'd like to see more of in the comments. I'll see you again very soon. Bye!